where are those millions and billions coming from? Is it illegitimately gained, or is it perfectly righteous? And that is the question Bruce Hales has got to face. Is he getting money from his congregation righteously, or is he coercing them into giving money? And that is a question. If he faces that in himself,
exactly
he could change the whole thing overnight.
Exactly.
And we're all mixed. It's not as if we're talking down at anybody.
No, not at all.
Because there, but for the grace of God, go I. So I'm one of them. That's the ground I take.
That's it. That's the true humility, is you have walked that path. You know what it feels like, but you have also then stood in your integrity and had to be in this isolation phase and be humiliated, and you still keep going.
So the only healing thing I can suggest, really, is that they open the doors to non-brethren kids. Oh, they might talk about sex. So what?
Yeah.
Oh, they might be damaged because we've got lovely, innocent kids. Pull the other one.
Yeah.
And I make that point by saying we were always taught, and it says in Scripture, that liars go to the lake of fire, and then they pull that out and twist that round to say that my son is going to the lake of fire because I said he's a false witness. Complete nonsense. Complete and utter nonsense. It's a complete twist of the truth. The brethren responded to letters I wrote in, genuinely protesting at the way I'd been treated. The focus wasn't myself, it was just trying to get at the principle of what's going on. And I dropped letters into brethren's letter boxes around Leeds, one or two in Sheffield, Doncaster way. And it all came to court, and they were trying to turn me into a criminal for harassing them by writing these letters. Of course, if I had a criminal record, the houses know I'd never be allowed into Australia again. And they didn't want me out there. They'd already tried to raise a violence order against me through the courts, saying I was there to put a bullet through the leader's head. Burn his house.
More lies,
Burn his house to the ground. I didn't have any matches, didn't have anything to do it with. But apparently the fact I was walking down the street meant I was pacing out the plot, ready to light a fire.
Only because they see you as a threat. That's it. So they will try and make up every thing that they possibly can in order to make you out to be the bad guy. And because of the conditioning of the people who are in it, they will believe it, but only because they're scared of losing everything, and that's the thing, It's like, but you haven't been scared of that, and you have stood in your integrity. But where are your family now, anyway, Lance? Like, where are they?
Well, my daughters are spread around the country, different places, because they got married.
UK?
My sons are Leeds, Harrogate, Knaresborough area, and. They're in the cult still, Brethren Church as they would call it. My ex-wife is there as well. But the whole divorce was induced by the church. The breakup of the family was induced by Bruce Hales, without any shadow of a doubt in my mind at all. And generally, there are so many layers in the hierarchical system that people can't work through all the layers of hierarchy in Leeds, and then England, and then those he delegates to in Australia to get it across to England. So by the time you've worked through 5 layers of hierarchy, you're out of, you give up. And so some people just haven't got the brain to keep going, to trace back the evil to where it really emanates from. And I'm sorry, Mr. Hales, but it's come from you. And these guys that have all been having a go at me from around the country...
No, you don't have to be sorry for it either.
Thank you.
You don't have to be sorry for it.
Okay, thank you. But these guys, whether it's Worcester, Preston, Harrogate, Leeds, Nottingham, Doncaster, Sheffield, he's got his own men in each place who just execute his orders And they might argue, well, we're only doing as we're told.
Well, yeah, that's it, yeah.
Well, that was the argument of the Gestapo in Hitler's day.
If you didn't say it, I was going to say it. That's it, yeah.
Now, I hesitate to say that because they'll suddenly might start a lawsuit. Oh, Lance is likening us to the Gestapo, and we're lovely people. We've got nothing else in mind than the best for our wonderful congregation.
No. Yeah.
So how do you cope with that? I don't think they will, because I think they realise that there's a measure of truth in what I'm saying. If not
exactly, I saw this. It's the measure of truth within themselves that's being exposed through this, isn't it? And it's like I saw a video online the other day of a guy who was talking to some policemen, and he's questioning them on, are you able to think for yourself? Do you think that these things are right? What are going on now? What you're implementing and doing to the thing? And these policemen are going, no, yeah, I'm just a servant. And they're saying it sarcastically, but they can't answer him. And their eyes are the truth. Their eyes are going, shit, yeah, actually. Yeah. And that's good because it makes people question why they're doing what they're doing. Yeah. But if you're not able, or you're in so much fear that you're not able to approach that within yourself, that is your sign that something is out of sorts. Yeah. And it's like the love is the thing that really changes that as well, the acceptance and the knowing that that is going on within people.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. It's very good. So let's look at this is just a public newspaper report on my trial in January 23. Following a trial at Leeds Magistrates Court this week, Lance Christie was found not guilty of harassing 8 members of the Plymouth Brethren Christian Church, including 2 of his sons and his nephew. A church spokesman said that they were disappointed with the outcome and that they will continue to strongly refute Mr. Christie's allegations about our beliefs. So they've gone on and brought more court cases against me, more and more. So after this acquittal, they had me up in November, what they call a Weevable Group case. And there, the judge started off by saying, well, there's a simple way to resolve this. Lance Christie just agrees not to use his family as the mechanism to criticise the church. But he can criticise the church uphill, down dale, basically. Yeah. So this is what I'm able to do legally, established in the court of law. So, of course, then they start looking, getting this. Look, is there anything we can catch Lance out in connection with his family? So, of course, they brought up stuff that I'd written before, which I inadvertently included in the letter I sent in January 24, and that's been the cause of this last escalation of costs to, I guess, they wanted £293,000 back in November, because they got one out of the 59 contempts they brought against me, one was sentenced. So for all that, they wanted the complete costs. And now, if they add on costs for the appeal, because I appealed against that one, I might lose, I might win, that's the material really. Complete waste of time. They might want £500,000 from me, and all the time, I believe Bruce Hales is trying to send me bust. And I understand from one or two insiders that he's actually said, oh, Lance will go bust. Well, we were a £10 million family, 20 million Australian. I was just happily in the Brethren, like so many are, happily enjoying life, entertaining, never thought of cost, because I was established. Now suddenly I'm scratching around for my last penny. And he's rubbing his hands in glee, apparently, but he can't be from inside, but he's making out that he's so happy because he's sending me bankrupt. So it's all about money.
It is, and that should not be you should not be able to buy your way out of anything, or bankrupt somebody so that they have to give up. That's not justice, because cumulatively, what we were saying yesterday, if you have, I view some of the poorest people in the world, when they are gifted money, they give it to other people. It's like if they get given 50 quid, they go and share it with the community around them. Cumulatively, they're giving away like 80% of what it is that they've got. Not everybody, but this is what I see in the world. If you're worth billions and billions of pounds and you're giving, a million or 500,000 to a charity and saying that you're a good person, no.
It's a shop window, isn't it?
It is, yes. It's false. It's false.
Yeah.
It's
scribes and Pharisee stuff.
Yeah.
And then you have to look at where are those millions and billions coming from? Is it illegitimately gained, or is it perfectly righteous?
Yeah.
And that is the question Bruce Hales has got to face.
Yeah.
Is he getting money from his congregation righteously, or is he coercing them into giving money?
Yeah.
And that is a question. If he faces that in himself,
exactly that.
He could change the whole thing overnight.
Exactly that. There is such potential here for real good values, and that's the thing that he's missing, is that what's eating him up inside will not go away when this ends.
No.
And that's the true compassion, is seeing through that as well, that there needs to be accountability for what it is that he is doing.
So he could change from being a taker into a giver.
Yeah.
Coming off the demand onto supply.
Yeah.
And his demand has got a facade of supply, about 0.01% of his profits probably.
Yeah.
But he's actually accumulating massive wealth for himself.
Yeah.
At the expense of the congregation. So wonderful families like the Dallows back in the day, 60s, massive business, should now be worth billions, I would suggest. Dick Dallow came back, tried to help the position in Holland, came back stony broke after 10 years. I reckon that was deliberately done. Oh no, he did it himself. Blame him. No. John Dallow, wonderful man, Barbara Dallow, they would have expected the brethren and trusted the brethren, like we all did, to look after their sons and daughters.
Yeah.
And the Lamberts, who were she was a Lambert. Yeah. But Ben Lambert's been left penniless, having to work dawn till dusk just to keep going. He's tried to come back and visit the brethren, get back. Nope. Out, So they cannot afford to have anyone tamper with their financial situation.
And really, energetically, what's happening here is the values of what they're saying is, the value of what I see, true, good, honest values that is there within the church is unconditional love.
Yeah.
You love and unconditionally accept people.
You give without any motive for return.
Yes, exactly.
But God sees to it that you get your return.
Exactly, yes. Yeah. And that will come in other ways as well.
Yeah.
But if there is a stipulation of conditions or a constriction, which there is within this, which is exposing the lie that they are saying is not there, that is eating them up inside, that condition is not of God.
No.
That is of the ego.
Yes.
That is of the false self.
Yes.
That is of the protective self.
Yes. Yes.
And if there is to be any real reconciliation within themselves, then ask themselves these questions.
Yes.
Is this true?
Yeah.
Is this honest? And is this decent?
Yeah.
Or is this coercion? And is this it's deceptive? It's deceptive.
It's conditional.
And it's control. Yeah.
So it's a bit like love between two people. Unconditional love. And I'm getting married in 3 weeks' time. God willing, I will want to marry my wife unconditionally, no caveats, no restriction.
Yeah,
love is its own motive. You
have to do this. I have. Yeah, there's none of that. No. It's
Whereas
not love.
in the Brethren Church,
it's attachment.
They add Bruce Hales' name to the marriage vow. Would you imagine?
That's strange. Yeah.
So, what is meant to be a pure relationship between two individuals, they're actually putting the caveat that you must stay loyal to this church, which is loyal to Bruce Hales. So it's an extra, the marriage vow can be an extra chain because you're bringing the religion right into bear. Yeah. And if you ever see the light and decide you need to leave, you're going against your marriage vows.
Yeah, so he has control over that.
And he even puts people together.
And that is intervention, that is control.
Yeah.
And also that is not of God.
No.
very
absolutely.
manipulative as well. Yeah.
And I'm afraid that these priests, not very nice, get control of young people pretty much at the age of puberty, and they're pretty much in bondage sexually right through their lives, and don't never really break out of that shackle.
No, well, yeah, it's a trauma of that, isn't it, as well? That's it. That's exactly what we're going up against. You know?
And sex is such an important subject in all of our lives that, of course, if it's manipulated by a religion or a controlling religion...
If you're putting a third party in something that is between just two people, sacred, you know,
absolutely.
that's not okay. It's kind of what we do with marriage vows here. It's all got to be registered by a controlling body, and it's exactly the same. Like the cult of this is the microcosm of the cult of society as well. And we give our power away to that. And then there's all this legal stuff that you have to go through, and it makes something that could be a very simple interaction or a simple thing, it makes it very complex and confusing and controlling, and that's not okay. That's something that I have a big problem with, you know.
And people say to me, I'm getting mad, like, make sure that you do your prenuptials, is that what you call it?
Prenuptial agreement,
In other words, safeguard your money from this woman just in case she's bad.
Yeah, is that based on truth and love? No, it's not. Yeah.
I want to share everything, like I did my first wife. I never knew she was going to team up with the religion to take my money away and take my business away, take my family away, because I trusted her. But in her simplicity, and if that's, and I mean that in a positive way, she was persuaded by the leader that I was a bad man. So had to take my wealth away from me, or try to, under instructions, to save it for the testimony, which means save it for Bruce Hales and his sons, the leaders, and Garth, I suppose, and his appointed hierarchy. It's just not good, is it?
No, it's not. It's not just, and it's not fair.
It's not righteous.
No, not at all.
So all we're trying to do is unpick this so that people in there understand the true situation, think about it, and feel and come to their own conclusions.
And realise their innocence in this as well. It's like it's like exactly what you said. From young people, they brainwash you from that early age, and that is really hard to get out of. Mentally, you know, it takes a real strong soul, and that's the thing that we want to try and get across to anybody who's watching this, is maybe in these situations, is like, you are so much stronger than this, but you can't be strong if you're giving your power away to some oppressive thing. And you're told to say, "Oh, wretched, wicked man that I am," every morning when you get up. But it's only through fear, isn't it? And that's not okay. That's not love. That's not true. And you know that deep down within you as well. So it's suppressing your personality, that what you've got inside, which is wonderful. Your personal reality. And so you feel a complete wreck, a complete sinner, and you reach beyond that. You do reach beyond that, mercifully, if you've got it in you. If you've got Christ in you. If you have that unconditionality. But not everybody does. Some just get bowed down by it. And, you know, go through life bowed down with the burden of guilt. So as a leader should be setting people free to realise their potential. A true leader said in Taoism, you don't know they exist. There you are. Because they lead from behind. Very good. And that's a correlation that a guy made to the alpha wolf. That's where the alpha comes from. The leader was at the front. Nope, he got it wrong. And he took it back. He said he was observing the wolves and he thought, yeah, the leader's at the front. Nope, the leader's at the back, making sure if there's any stragglers or anybody falling down, he will help them along. And you don't know he's there, you know, and that's it. I think that comes out in Amos's epistle in the Bible. He was a shepherd, and he followed the flock rather than led them. Yeah, exactly. I can't remember the exact reference, but it's all, the Bible is wonderful. It's all in there. And the only way you can do that is by really sort of like finding and seeing through the lies as well of the system that is in place. Yes. And inherently we know it all within us as well, and it's dig deep within your soul and ask, is this truly of God? Is this truly of integrity? Is this
very
truly
good
of
challenge.
love?
Yeah. And we're all mixed. It's not as if we're talking down at anybody.
No, not at all.
Because there, but for the grace of God, go I. So I'm one of them. That's the ground I take.
That's it. That's the true humility, is you have walked that path. You know what it feels like.
Yeah.
But you have also then stood in your integrity and had to be in this isolation phase and be humiliated, and you still keep going because you know that what you're doing is of truth. That's it.
Yeah. Well, you've put into words what I believe, and I hardly like to say it about myself, but if I've got a job to do, I do my job. Simple as that.
Yeah.
And mission, I've got a mission. And I'll try and do it well before I go down.
Yeah.
Do my job well.
Yeah,
Do what
exactly.
you do well, lads, you know.
Yeah.
That's what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
Simply. And we're really standing against the power that comes with money and the ability to manipulate people and force people to think a certain way is not good.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And it's such a I always said this, it's fear, it's fear that, I'm not going to have enough, or I'm not going to have this. But ultimately, if you trust deeply, and this is where we're both at within this surrender to this divine will, as we are working through it within ourselves, you get to a deeper level of surrender within yourself, and you realize that when you do, and you're almost at that point of like, I think I'm going to give up and I'm going to go back to this, or what, then God goes, there you go. And it's like your higher self.
The other thing we've got to watch inside is the desire for prominence. Front rows on in the synagogues, it says in the Bible. And that does mark the brethren. And of course, my brother used to do the row selection for the big meetings when Hales came, to England.
Yeah.
And of course, it mattered who was on the front 5 rows, because they were regarded as the ruling hierarchy, the people that took the meetings.
Yeah, the top gang members.
And yet they say, it doesn't matter where you sit, on the surface, we're clear of all that, we're so holy.
I'll tell you what, you lot then sit at the back, and you watch their egos go, ooh. If we're really all equal, then go sit at the back. Like the alpha wolf, really.
I remember Garth did once, he came in late and sat at these brethren, God, we can't have you at the back. You've got your seat, here's your seat kind of thing.
Yeah.
And he had to play a bit of game with them. But
it's all status. And, it's false.
Yeah.
Fascinating, though. Absolutely fascinating.
It's like a study of human nature, isn't it, really?
Yeah, it is, that's it. And exactly the same is going on out there,
Yeah.
Everybody's been sold this lie of you get a house, you get a car, you get a family, you settle down, you'll be happy, and everybody's going, but I don't really have any purpose. I work for somebody else. I'm giving my power away every day, and I feel depressed and sad, and I've been off work I speak to people like this all the time. Me and my wife are depressed, my son's autistic and he lives at home, and I just don't know what to do anymore. And this thing, it's because you lack purpose, and your soul is yearning for this sovereignty, and everybody's yearning for that sovereignty, but you can't get that when you're still within a system that oppresses you and controls you and pushes your spirit and your soul down,
But I really admire those people who are speaking to you for their honesty. At least they're coming to you saying, this is the situation. You can help those people.
Yeah, a lot of them never know that they're going to have that conversation with me, but through me sharing my own truth and being completely vulnerable, it gives them permission to do exactly the same.
Exactly, that's beautiful. Vulnerability is strength, I say.
It is,
And that's really what these brethren, but they must not go to their hierarchy members.
No.
Make yourself vulnerable to your wife, I would say, first of all. And wife
to yourself first.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But then don't go to your priest.
Yeah.
Please. Don't go there. Go. If you go to the person you love and trust, should be your wife, should be your husband, it might not be. Your wife might be too religious and dob you in. So just think about that. Think, who is that despised brother in my meeting? Or even the person we excommunicated. Be brave and go and chat to him.
Yeah.
And we had a few come back 2002 when there's a bit of a false review going on. lovely people, because they'd been shut out years before. But it was a bit of a false dawn. We thought, wow, there's going to be hundreds, thousands coming back. But then they started being controlled. And the people that came back that had been wronged weren't even given the front seats on the synagogues.
Yeah.
Because the hierarchy who was controlling the review.
Yeah, naughty.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
And we had a wonderful guy called Andy McLean, and he came back, he took meetings and preached and went to Canada. Then he came to Leeds in 2016. Hale said something negative about him, wasn't even asked to preach. But he was a top guy, loved him, you know. Yeah. He wasn't even allowed to preach or take a reading. So that's what happens. These people come back, but it's not expedient for the brethren to reconcile with people they've chucked out. Because when you think about it, they are owed money. People who have been excommunicated wrongly should be compensated substantially. You might say money isn't the issue, but it's as a way of acknowledging that we've got it wrong.
Yeah.
So here is, a few £1 million compensation.
Yeah.
But no, they were just brought back, made something of initially, and then had to go back and join the rank and file and be suppressed.
Yeah.
How good's that?
Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? Because in any system, I think most systems start out from a level of doing good and honesty and truth. And then over time, because of, you go up there and you speak today, and then all of a sudden the dynamic starts to shift and everything starts to move. And it's not because of money, it's because of how we interact with money that does that. And I've seen that within my own life. I have also walked this path. I am not perfect, but recognizing it and taking accountability for where you mess up, that's the thing that allows you to be able to break out of that or recognize it when it's happening in the outside. So there is no good or bad, but if you continue along that path and you amplify that, then it becomes something that is corrupt, such as the systems are in place at the moment. And to saying to anybody, there is nobody above you, there is nobody below you, there is just equality.
Mutuality.
That has been moved, and that's a very dangerous thing, because it takes you out of yourself and you give your power to something else, when actually truly we're all stepping back into the truest essence of who we are, which is sovereign.
And the true teaching of the church, which is violated, but we used to say mutuality is each taking up his responsibility. So that's a safe environment. It's not a hierarchy at all. And of course, the brethren say to the press, and with the creation of with the Charity Commission, they've given autonomy to each place, each locality. So Doncaster, Leeds, Harrogate, all regarded as completely separate gatherings with their own administration. So they're actually judged on their own merits. Well, as though there's no hierarchy. Because the brethren say we're not a hierarchical system. And when the Steward Act was created in 1989, which now controls the brethren globally, or is the tool which Bruce Hale seems to use, the basis of that being passed was there's no hierarchy in this church. The hierarchy stinks to high heaven.
Yeah, the fact that he's a third party on marriage agreements.
Yeah.
Why do you have anything to do with that then if there's no hierarchy?
Yes. So the British government have been conned. The New South Wales, Australian government have been conned. And I hate to think how many other governments have been conned around the world by the brethren. It's a complete con. It's a one-man dictatorship. And they've persuaded the British. See, it's a bit like in the courts. The lawyers don't know me. The judges don't know me. But they are called on to see me in court, spend a few hours in court with me. I don't speak, and they pass judgment on me. But the people who should be holding themselves accountable when passing judgment on me should be the brethren themselves, my family, my son, my daughters. If my daughters, my 3 daughters, I've got 3 super daughters, Heidi, Zoe and Kiri, if they all came and saw me and passed judgment on me off their own volition, I would take that very seriously. But I don't think they would, because if they were here, they would just love me.
Yeah.
It would all melt. Because they know I love them. They'd love to have me back. I'd love to have them back.
Yeah.
They won't dare to admit that, because I'm the devil.
Yeah. Yeah, because of the gatekeepers of their own consciousness, that's where they're constricted, isn't it? You know? And that's not all right. That's not okay.
No.
You know? And it is. It's ask yourself those deep questions that are burning within you that you try and, no, hang on, don't want to go there.
Yeah.
You know?
So Dowd, the Attorney General, 89, tells Parliament that there's no hierarchy in this church. And therefore we need they need special status outside the courts, so they're never subject to a court of law. And they can go to banks and change the assets. As soon as Bruce Hales excommunicates somebody, the trusts are created to be able to move those assets from the person that's excommunicated, because he's the leader of the church, you can do that. And because he's trustee of the foundation, or what's styled on the Stewards Foundation of Christian Brethren Act, he can simultaneously take their wealth away.
Yeah.
Because he deems them not fit for fellowship. It makes it highly crucial that any judgment in any assembly, which is meant to be autonomous, nothing to do with him. So it means that the Leeds brethren, the trustees of the Leeds gathering, need to look in very, very, very closely, incisively into my withdrawal and my father's, and decide whether it's righteous, because the consequences of losing your family, losing your money, losing your business, losing your whole social circle, losing everything you've devoted your whole life to are enormous. And these are young persons drafted into trusteeship who don't know what they're doing, with all due respect to them.
Yeah. They're naive, aren't they, to it? Yeah.
Well, they prance around as though they're in charge of the place, and look very smug, you know.
Yeah, because it's exactly the same paradigm or control structure as a gang. These people who are sort of, you know, not down and out in this situation, but they're being controlled and manipulated to believe that they're in a family that is based on love, but it's not. It's based on, like, we can use you to do what we want, so that we can keep money, so that I can stay up here and you stay down there. And then there's a breaker or an airlock in between anybody trying to get up there, because they've got all of these innocent people who aren't in touch with their true feelings within themselves. And
these guys tend to give the words in the ministry meeting, tend to preach more than others. And so they're taught, subconsciously you're taught to revere these guys. And you fall for it because you don't know anything else. You've never grown up in any other environment. And the separation walls are so thick that you're never allowed into any other church to see how, even at school, only brethren. So you're not allowed to see how the school kids in the big wide world, you're not allowed to rub shoulders with the world as they used to do.
It's almost like that creates fear of the outside world. All out there, there's loads of scary people. No, there's a load of love out there, you know, as well as fear as well.
So the only healing thing I can suggest, really, is that they open the doors to non-brethren kids. Oh, they might talk about sex. So what? Oh, they might be damaged because we've got lovely, innocent kids. Pull the other one.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, the irony.
Well, this is it. The whole does truth matter? My document, Does Truth Matter? Discussed and discussed in court. The irony is that they are using my question, which the overarching thing is, does truth matter? Picking little bits out of it to use against me. But the big question is, does truth matter?
Yeah, and that's the irony of what they're doing, and as I said to you this morning, isn't it? You know, it's like they're pulling quotes from a book, changing the context of what it is that you're saying in that, in a book that's called Does Truth Matter?
Exactly. And I make that point by saying we were always taught, and it says in Scripture, that liars go to the lake of fire, and then they pull that out and twist that round to say that my son is going to the lake of fire because I said he's a false witness. Complete nonsense.
Yeah.
Complete and utter nonsense. It's a complete twist of the truth.
Well, people have to fabricate when they can't attack what it is that you're saying. They will then try and nitpick and find things. But that is a show of weakness. It's not a show of strength.
And then it degenerates into a talk about the most extreme scripture in the Bible when I used to preach grace and forgiveness, and I still do. I'm saying repent and believe in the glad tidings, get healed by Christ, happy days.
Yeah.
But then they try and twist it back that I'm talking about my son going to the lake of fire. Absolute and utter twist of the truth.
Yeah.
It does. Occasionally, I do get a little bit.
Oh, it's good.
Excuse me.
No, it's good. It is. It's because you've lost your family. They have taken your family. They are controlling your family, and that's not okay.
No.
You know, especially when you see the lack of accountability and lack of fairness in what they're doing as well. You know, it's like, no, it's.
I honestly believe that if the fear were taken away and my family were here with me, they'd be as secure, happy, peaceful as you are. Just love being back with the old man, you know?
Yeah, totally.
There's no threat. Actually, I'm not. If I'm a threat to their security, it's not because I'm intending to be. It's just that I'm speaking the truth. If the truth is a threat, let's not be personal about this.
Yeah.
If the truth is a threat to your security, there's something wrong in the whole culture of what we're doing. It's not that I'm having a go at a person. Oh, he said something nasty about me. He's harassing me.
There's no personal attack. No, that's it. But that's what they're trying to do back to you. Because it is. They're trying everything that they can right now because that deep energy within them is going, ooh. But then ultimately will be their downfall, you know. It's like, we can try and you'll be amazed because once you do start connecting in with your true divinity within ourselves, and if they did the same, they would also find that they would be looked after. But they're already in the whatever of fire, you know. It's like they're already there within their own minds. You know, heaven and hell aren't places you go after you die. They are states of consciousness that we are in right now. Hales, as it is, he's in hell right now. You know, because he's having to keep up this pretense of this false self, this protective self, under the guise of, well, I've got loads of money. It doesn't save you. Doesn't save you. No. Just gets you deeper and deeper in trouble with the divine, really. You know, but that's from within him as well.
Yeah,
you know,
and when you think of the type of lawyers he has to engage, he must be running out of options now. I thought, because lawyers aren't daft.
No.
At least some might be.
They're very good at changing what's happening and falsifying things and making it seem from an angle that it's one way, but ultimately they also know as well. So I wouldn't like to be a lawyer. Don't think it would be.
I think Charlotte Harris, who's been in court just 2 days ago against me and right through, really, came for a mediation meeting, which was nonsense, quite frankly. She's got a lot to answer for because lawyers have got a duty to the system to be people of integrity and speak the truth and be fair, I believe.
Yeah.
And if that is compromised by having a big salary for winning cases for criminals, there's something awfully wrong with the system.
We are all judged inevitably by ourselves, not God. God loves us all unconditionally. If you want to go down that route, feel free, but you will incur your own karma as it is. You know, so it doesn't matter whether we won the case. If you did it immorally or if you did it out of integrity, you will have to make repentance for that in this life or the next.
Well, you win through weakness and defeat. He won the Medan crown, so Christ accepted defeat, and that is good for us. Rather than carry on bashing your head against the wall, we must stop using the legal system. You should never use it against a fellow Christian or one of the brethren. That's in the Bible. You don't take your brother to court. You go and see him between thee and him alone.
Yeah.
Resolve it.
Yeah, exactly.
If you've got the guts to do that, if the brethren would come and see me, they've got the guts to do that, we'd resolve matter. They know we would.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I'm a forgiver.
Yes, exactly that. That's the big takeaway from this, is exactly that, isn't it? It doesn't matter what you do to me, I will always still forgive you.
Yeah.
Forgive them, for they know not what they do. You know, it's like,
Forgive them, for they know not what they do. But we can't forgive. There's a big bumpy carpet of carcasses that no one's talking about.
yeah, the accountability.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we want to forgive, and our disposition, if they come in as a bumpy carpet, just tell the truth about it.
Yeah.
We withdrew from your dad wrongly. That's already been acknowledged in church. But they've done the same to me.
Yeah.
So it hasn't been faced morally. They've not gone deep enough.
Yeah, yes, yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. It's like, forgive them, for they know what they do, applies to the followers who are thinking that they're doing the right thing. Yeah.
We put as much down to ignorance as we can.
But matey who's not at the top, he needs to be held accountable, and he will. It doesn't matter how much you deceive and pretend that you're something that you're not. It is all seen.
Yeah.
It is all seen.
Yeah.
So be warned.
Yeah.
Make repentance now to save yourself, because the further you go down and you keep purveying this lie, it will only ever fall on you. That is a fairness. That is the unconditional love. You make these decisions, you make your bed, you sleep in it, and you are sleeping in it, and the sleep is going to be very uncomfortable and full of nightmares, So just be warned that is it. It's like, when you come up against a true man of God, then that is the warning. We can't control what happens to them. They are doing it to themselves. All we're doing is going, I'm not backing down.
It's back to Samuel again, isn't it? We said yesterday that the kings were going on and getting more and more powerful and greater and winning wars, but they had a conscience. When they got in touch with inner self, should we call Samuel? Should we call? Oh, I don't want to, because he's going to jeopardize my position and my status. But we better do, because we're in a fix. And God sent that fix. God sent discomforted them and allowed defeat, so that they turned back to him.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's how life works.
Yeah, and that's it. It's like, there's no judgment, It's like, because I know that everything is resolved because we do it to ourselves.
Yeah.
It's our choices that we can either make out of love or fear, or conscious choices or unconscious choices, But the fact that there are controlling bodies messing with that system and calling it, it's your own free will, that is a lie.
Yeah.
That is you manipulating people. That is you controlling people.
Yeah.
And that will be seen. It is being seen right now. So,
Absolutely.
Yeah.